Hello everyone, welcome back to my top 10 picks from this year's 7-day roguelike challenge. This one is my number 7 and it's called Hellion, or Space Hellion. It was originally called Space Hellion, so you might see it listed under that name if you're looking at 7DRL lists. This one is an interesting attempt to integrate roguelike-ish features into something which isn't really very roguelike-ish, which should hopefully become clearer as we get playing. So, let's press a key and we'll get started. First thing you'll notice probably is we are a spacecraft, and this game kind of reminds me of Starwing, as it was known in the EU at that point. Most of the world knows it better as Star Fox, but over here it was known as Starwing for some kind of legal reason. And that's basically the kind of game this is, but it's done in a turn-based way. Now, this isn't just entirely gratuitous turn-based motion, which I have seen in some games. It doesn't just stop at the turn-based aspect. It also tries to incorporate some sort of resource management stuff, and this should seem a little more familiar to people who've played something like FTL. It's not as detailed as that, but it's a similar basic idea. So, in the top right here, we've got 3 bars. The red bar is your weapon energy, expended as you use weapons. The blue bar is your shield energy, which depletes as you take hits. And the yellow one is your fuel. Underneath that, these symbols are the way that you divert your power to different functions of your ship. So it defaults to the yellow one, which is fuel conservation. The red one is weapons, so you'll be diverting power to your offensive capabilities there. Divert powers to shields for defense, and again, fuel conservation, which is what I tend to use most of the time, and just switch to the others as appropriate if I think I'm about to take a hit or I'm going on the attack. This arrow allows you to drop stuff because you have limited inventory space. Under that, you will see we start off with our plasma cannon. At the moment it's not doing anything, but if you click it, it will activate and it will automatically fire every couple of turns. You can see it has a cooldown of 2. And it also has its energy cost from our weapon energy, so we probably don't want to keep that firing when there's not anything in particular we're shooting at. I tend to be bad for that. I leave it firing at times when I really shouldn't. Over on the far left, we've got kind of a radar, which shows the positions of enemies in a top-down view, but it doesn't show their depth, so you can't tell whether one is higher or lower than another. So you kind of have to use that in conjunction with the main view in the middle there. So, now we've gone through all that, let's get started. Controls are either arrow keys or WASD to move around in this sort of grid that we've got ahead of us here, and spacebar to just go straight ahead. You can activate your power diverting functions and different weapons using various keyboard shortcuts. I know that the number keys select items from your inventory. I forget the keyboard shortcut for diverting power to different things, because I use a mouse. I tend to use WASD with my left hand and mouse with my right hand for this game. So let's head off, shall we? At the moment I'm going to deactivate our weapon because I'm not planning to shoot at anything. Not of enemies down there. So I will now activate my weapon, try to pop off a few shots. You might be noticing that some of the squares on the display go red as we approach them. This marks the squares where there's going to be danger in a second. So that's actually quite a nice feature to make something a little more coherent out of what could be a very confusing situation. As the enemies are dodging and weaving around, and there are shots flying at the screen and out of the screen. The blue ones are ours. Orange ones are dangerous, and asteroids all over the place. It could be very cluttered and confusing, so I like the fact that the game does itself provide these warnings of imminent danger in certain spaces. Let's divert to offensive there. We did take a hit. That's not great. That yellow crystal, I think, is fuel. Ah, we missed it. We're a bit too slow. Should have just kept going in that particular line of spaces. And this is how the game goes. I've never done particularly well at it so far. But I've had a few half-decent plays, but I tend to be really, really bad. I make terrible decisions. Like that. So that white sort of tab thing that you could see in the background there, there's another one here. That is an item pickup. So if we can grab that, we might get more weapons or new rockets or something like that. Okay. Oh, we've just got another plasma cannon like our first one. That's not really what I was hoping for. But, you know, if we're lucky, we might get something else. I suppose we could... No, we can't activate both of them. Never mind. Yeah. Tense. Get out of the red squares. Oh, no! So, you can see, in true roguelike fashion, Hellion is fairly challenging. It's not horrendously challenging. But it does have its own degree of challenge. And I like this attempt to not only introduce turn-based movement to a genre which usually doesn't use it at all, but to also... I'm holding down spacebar here for continuous movement. But to also introduce the sort of tactical and positioning and resource management aspects of roguelikes into this kind of game. Retro thruster breaks forward momentum, allowing you to remain temporarily stationary. Don't want that at the moment. Roll thruster. Do a barrel roll. Yeah. Star Fox reference, presumably. I need to turn my weapon off there because we're not using it at the moment. Another retro thruster. Let's do a barrel roll. Yeah. Fancy manoeuvres. Okay. So you can see our fuel is depleted by about a third at the moment. And that's using fuel conservation settings. So we really need to... Oh, we took a hit there. We really need to make sure that we pick up this fuel crystal, if at all possible. Oh, I missed it! I thought it was in a different set of squares. Oh, the horror. Okay. Okay, what other stuff have we got? No, oh, not enough cargo space. So, need to get rid of these things because we only have 4 cargo slots. Dodge around there, and now we've got a boss. I was hoping we'd get to this, a boss fight, like a true arcade shooter, but turn-based. I've beaten this boss a few times. I don't think I've ever got through the next level, as far as I remember. But I like the fact, again, that it actually manages to include a kind of arcade shootery boss fight, but in a turn-based way. It's a very, very novel approach. And we can pick up some upgrades before we start the next level, if we have enough cash. We have 108 TC, it lists at the bottom. So, since we're almost out of fuel, let's buy this fuel refill. And what else with our 150? Extra weapon port, cargo pod. Let's get cargo pod for more inventory space and improved thrust efficiency to minimise our fuel consumption. So here we definitely have a Starwing / Star Fox kind of setting as we fight over the surface of a verdant planet. But I'm going to leave it there. I'm not doing a Let's Play, just giving you a little look at this, which is Hellion, or Space Hellion, my number 7 pick for the entries from 2015's 7-Day Roguelike Challenge. So thanks for watching, as always. I will put a link to the game below, as I do with every one of these, even if I forget to mention it in the video. So if you want to download Hellion for yourself and give it a try, follow the link below. Thanks for watching, and rejoin me next time for my number 6.